Okay, turn that TV down. Speakers are on or not?
Nope. So, hey, everybody.
What's going on, everybody? Let's throw up. Get some people up here. Let's see, we got Polar Bear Ed, Loose Screw. Oh, we got Nick in here. Breezy Bike Shop. Harold Fisher. I was just down in his neighborhood Thursday. Alrighty. We got the link up. Anybody wants to come up?
Nobody can hear you until they come up. You can't hear anybody. Where's the link at?
I got the link posted right there. So. Dum, 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 dum.
Scroll down so you can see the comment.
Okay, now I want to switch this over, don't I?
No, you already closed out the other one.
Okay, how do I get my chat back up?
You don't, because you already closed it out.
Okay.
It'll be up after he's done eating.
Okay. So, Breezy Bike Shop said, hi, Mrs. B Twin.
Hey, Breezy, how are you?
All right. So anybody do anything exciting? Let's see, we're gonna get this leg.
Your mower's looking good. No, my mower.
Yeah, your mower.
I can't bring it in.
Mm-mm. I think I brought a boat and a trailer for $300. That's a good deal, Harold. Okay, what did you do today, Ed? Ed says he'll be up in a minute. He's eating.
Mm-hmm.
And Harold got himself a boat, he thinks. So that means Harold's going to have some footage to put out. Put an AC in my shop.
Tap your head, Ed.
Yeah, tap your head, Ed. Oh, that's shaking your head. You're lost now.
I'm always lost.
Uh-oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. Willie CK, how you doing? And then Harold says, we'll see. So he's not sure if he's got the boat or not. Okay.
I don't know anybody else can come up there.
He hasn't responded back to me yet. Well, sometimes Harold, they'll catch you late at night or something.
Yeah. When I left your place, Mark, I stopped at Subway
Uh-huh.
to get a sub, and they got a sign on the door.
I'm eating my diet food.
They said that there can only be 6 people in the store at a time. They're counting employees too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it is.
Is it roast tomato?
That's the way it was. I was down in Nashville on Thursday all day, and that's the way it was down there. I pulled in down there, and I stayed there till 11:30 Thursday night. And to get in there to eat or anything, they had a total of 10, a limit inside the whole building.
Yeah, but why are they counting employees? At lunchtime, they got like 4 people working there. That means like you have 2 people in the store at a time, 2 customers.
Right. Well, they say that everything's going backwards, that they're going to start shutting things down again. So, which is a bunch of bull.
Did you hear that?
Our son called. He's in the military, and he may be working from home again here shortly, and they've only been back 2 weeks, and they're going to put him back out again. So they're saying it's going backward.
Come on.
They can have me work from home.
Yeah, say that again, Ed. I didn't catch it.
You have an egg either?
I said they can have me work from home all they want.
Right,
Big
right.
bowl or a bowl? I mean,
Gosh, Bob.
down, Roscoe.
Yeah, Junior came over. He brought you jambalaya, and you're not here.
The way it always is for me. Day late and a dollar short.
Yeah,
I missed the jambalaya this week. Missed the upside down cake last week.
yeah, that was pretty good though.
I'm batting 0.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, loose screws. We are. They're not as bad as what they've been in other cities.
Well, anybody wants to come up, there's the link. So,
But yeah, it took me damn near a half an hour to get my sandwich at Subway.
really,
Harold, my mom's church has been going for 2 or 3 weeks now. Well, probably 4 weeks now. They have to skip every other pew, and they have to sit 6 feet apart per family. So if there's like 3 people in a family, there has to be a distance of 6 feet between them and the next group of people.
Wow.
You know, a family can sit side by side, but in between like another family or whatever or individual, there has to be 6 feet.
Dang. That's crazy.
Well, it's better than making everybody, each individual person, sit 6 feet apart.
right.
You know, if it's your family, you know, why can't you sit together? You live together.
I was in the grocery store with Jen the other day, and it said 1 person per cart. No 2 people using the same cart.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the way it is at Save a Lot up here.
Yeah, if it keeps going the way it's going, like I said, give it 2 weeks, and we'll be locked back down again.
I'm saying by the end of July around here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see it coming.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, loose screw. That's exactly what they're saying. It's just getting worse. But you know what? I don't see it. I really don't see it.
Well, what I'm seeing is a lot of the younger people are gathering in large crowds. Not necessarily the rioting or anything like that. They're just, and those are the ones that are getting sick now. Before they weren't getting sick. But all the high school kids, younger college age kids, something like that, they're going back out and doing their thing, gathering, kids. And
Right.
those are the ones that are getting sick now.
Right.
Well, they just say it's slowing.
So I don't know. It's pros and cons, But when it first all started out, they didn't have the test kits anyway to test people to know what the numbers are. Now they're testing, so of course it's going to be higher.
Right. But I was just talking to a couple outside Subway waiting to go in, and she works actually at a greenhouse, and they've never had to wear a mask or anything because they don't work side by side with people. They don't. What she does they don't work with the public. And where the guy works at, there's twin brothers that live together. They live together, ride to work together. They can't work side by side.
Right.
They have to keep 6 feet apart. And they're like, that's stupid. We do everything together. We live together, drive to work together, everything else. And they're like, nope, you have to work 6 feet apart.
Yeah, like I said, I was in Nashville on Thursday. I got there Thursday morning. And I stayed down there till 11:30 Thursday night before I headed out. And I talked to a few of them people down there where I loaded at down there. I was right there by the Nissan plant. I was back there at that I can't think of the name of it. They make coil wire. But they said it was real bad down in that area, but it didn't seem like it. I mean, the people were still going about their normal routines and stuff. I didn't see no real big ordeals other than that one protest that we got into down there, but it was nothing real major.
Very, very true, loose screws. It only makes sense if you're a fluent idiot.
Pretty much. Or just leave it.
So you were down in Harold Fisher's neck of the woods.
Yeah, Nashville. Yeah. Yeah, I was sitting there loading it. I was like, well, I wonder if Harold's going to bring me a cup of coffee. He never showed up.
I ate that one. I had one.
But I don't know. They say it's getting worse, but like I said, I don't see it.
We probably won't unless we go to the bigger cities,
Right. But it's hard to say. I mean, it could be, but then again, I really think it just comes down to it that people are getting tested. Yeah, they could have, but the numbers are going to go high naturally because they're testing now rather than there was no testing when it first all started. It wasn't available.
Right.
Yeah, there was a double wide or something back there, single wide. They just folded. They folded on the 16th.
I didn't think they was real dumb there, Harold. I just, it was, I guess I want to say I'm just unbelievable.
Mark, I'm sending you and Sandy a picture. Ken said this is my new tractor.
Oh boy. Oh boy. No.
Yeah, right.
I want to see that thing pull down the track.
Yeah. It'd make a good mud mower.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you could get it down the trail, the thing looks like it's 6 feet wide.
Yeah.
But
Oh well. But
so,
I'm just hoping it don't go back to the lockdown thing again. But the way it's ahead, and I foresee it going to happen again.
yeah, I don't want it to go back down to a lockdown like it was before.
Right.
You know, I want the kids to come back.
Right. But it's hard to say.
Yeah. So.
But the only really thing, was they're limiting. You figure there's 400 semis right there in that one area, and they let 10 people in the building at a time. You're waiting to get your meals and stuff, and then that one, I was at the shipper, asked to use the restroom. Oh, no, you can't come in our building. Well, they're pretty much treating the truck drivers like dirt, and I don't think that's right. We're supplying them with stuff to keep them working, and then they're gonna basically shit on us, and that's not
Right.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope you do too, Harold.
Yeah. That's what you need is a boat project. Give you something to do, Harold. At least you won't have that fishing line coming back hitting you from the bank. But yeah, I don't know. I hope it don't go back. The way they're talking, it's going to, but that's just hearsay. But it's government controlled. That's about it. It's in Clarksville. It's a project. That's what you need, Harold. You need a project. Build it the way you want it.
Well, technically, everything's a project.
Oh, yeah. Supply and demand. That's how they do it. Supply and demand.
Yep.
The more that people need them, the higher it's going to go.
Well, and it's because they're mandatory, and if you want to go into their store or whatever, you have to buy the mask if you don't have your own.
Right.
And
Yep. That's what it all comes down to: supply and demand. How much is needed.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Harold.
But look at beef prices. But the prices of beef really haven't went up a lot around here. Not that I've noticed. But we also have small butcher shop meat markets that buy straight from the farm. So
you go to Walmart here, and hamburgers between $6 and $9 a pound. You go to the butcher shop, and it's only $3.99.
yeah, just go vegetarian, and when you cut the grass, you can make a salad.
Yeah, you can do that too.
At least Subway dropped their prices back down to $5 footlongs again.
Well, yeah, they're struggling. All these restaurants and all them, they're struggling. They're trying to get people back in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I almost left and went to Hardee's, but I was really in the mood for a sub once I pulled in the parking lot.
Right. And that's exactly right, Harold. That's what's been keeping everything going is the mom and pop places. The big places, forget it.
Yep. I've only been going to Walmart or ordering from Walmart when I absolutely have to that no place either carries or is too expensive. I've been doing the smaller stores for as much as I can.
Yep. There's a few of the smaller places I won't go to, but
Yeah.
look, did you see Breezy's comment from an 80 to 20 doubled in prices?
Yep.
I was going to say 3 times.
Yeah. I'm glad I got about 20 pounds of deer burger in the freezer and probably another 10 pound of hamburger in the freezer.
That's right, Harold. That's with the big chains, though. That's what they need to bring them back to reality. But they just think that what they have is everybody's got to have it. But if the mom and pops are there and have it, well, the big chains are going to be done in.
Yeah, deer is a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a brother that goes out and loves to hunt, and he'll get 2 or 3 that he's legally allowed to get, and they can't eat all the meat, but he loves deer hunting, so he's like, "Hey, stop by the house. I got some hamburger for you," figuring it's a couple pounds, and
Yeah.
he walks out with 20 pounds of deer burger. Now this is from last year, but it's still good because it's vacuum packed. I'm like, okay, let me know when you need more.
Yep.
That's the easiest kind of deer hunting.
Yeah. But that's the way it goes anymore. But then again, too, you're not seeing as many hunters as you used to either. I'm not used to this having to sit here and keep reading all this chat.
Maybe the reason you're not seeing the hunters too much anymore is because the camelos got so good.
That's not true either. More expensive.
Yeah. Hey, I had a buddy I worked with. He would leave our job at the oil field and go out bow hunting every night after work in his work boots, blue jeans, and a jacket that he wore at work all day long, and sit there and drink a cup of coffee and smoke a cigarette, and he'd always get deer.
Right. I did that quite a few times. You can bet shell pricing is going up. They can't stop the guns, so they'll attack the ammo.
That's when you get the blunderbuss out.
That's why you have reloading equipment. Oh, shoot. No, but I'll try a cup of coffee. Not yet. I just had sloppy joes. It was good too.
Breezy asked if the fenders on the back of Sandy's tractor were custom.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything on that tractor's custom. And trust you me, I learned that 3 times in a row when I had to put them on, take them back off, and put them on, take them back off, and then forget to do something. Had to do it the 3rd time.
You forgot to put my things in my, what is it? My shims under my seat box.
Yeah. In fact, Junior just had a set rolled. Put tabs on it to add on to his.
Breezy, I got to see it in person today. So what it looks like on camera looks really, really good. It looks 100 times better in person.
Don't listen to him. That was a pain in the butt.
That color is going to be stupendous out in the sun.
Next video, it is out in the sun.
What are you giving away stuff for?
They have to watch it to see it.
Oh, Lordy.
The squirt gun.
Yeah, did you see loose screws? That's a good one.
That kind of reminds me of the old joke when the young man comes to date your daughter, you toss a bullet at him and say, after 11 o'clock, it moves a lot faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember Robbie when Kaylee's first date?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cleaning as they are. 2 bowls.
Oh yeah, I'll be having another one.
Oh, Lordy, you better make that tractor lighter. If you're going to keep eating like that.
Thinking next weekend, figure out what's going on. I might make a big pot.
Well,
Number 4.
the girl, well, when I started dating a certain girl in high school, went in to meet her dad like you're supposed to and everything, sat down. He reached down in his waistband and pulled out a little snub nose, looked like a 22 or a 25, and laid it on the table. I looked at it and said, oh, that's really nice. That's a nice little gun. Yep. You know, and I know how to use it. I'm like, oh, cool. So give me a second. Walked out to my car, come back in and laid my 357 down on the table with a 6-inch barrel. I said, I know how to use this one too. It puts a really big hole in people and things. We only went out one time.
That was the end of that.
Yeah, she was not a happy camper.
Yeah.
I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, but needless to say, sometimes that's a good thing.
Hey, I'll protect your daughter.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that's where that term came in from. Hit it and quit it.
No comment.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Horse's shop. How you doing, Horse?
I don't know. Ed, did you see that on how to do a virtual live?
No.
I don't know either.
Isn't this a virtual live?
I don't know. Harold was asking. I don't know what it is.
I would think. Because virtual is where you get in with everybody else.
Right.
On a panel. Anybody else know? Horse's shop.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ken.
Yeah, man. Isn't that that's not on Instagram, is it?
I don't know.
Sweater?
Oh God.
What do you call that? A party hat?
Is that better? No glare?
Hey, that almost looks like the green tractor.
Oh, Lord. I didn't want to go there. That was horrible.
Mr. Ken Bates is up on
Yeah, Kenny Bates.
there. Now you're ready for winter already?
Yeah.
Just call me Cousin Eddie.
Yeah.
Full Mark.
Oh, Boneyard's in here, huh? Yeah, he is.
Oh, shoot.
Hey, Ken, just click that link and we'll get 3 shiny ones up here. Because you're shiny all over.
Yeah, really. Oh, Lordy.
Boneyard, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Boneyard's here. He's accountable for.
Horse, you going to get a video of your rat rod wheel horse out to us?
Stop, Shelby. Go ahead.
He built a really nice wheel horse rat rod, like lowered and everything.
Yeah.
It's got a single cylinder diesel in it. The thing looks really nice.
Let's go. Lay down.
Yep. I think I was on that. On one of his things, checking out his work.
Yeah, for being a young man, he does really, really good work. Really good woodworker too.
Uh-huh.
He makes some phenomenal lathe stuff. I just ain't got the patience for it.
Yeah, but now if you can get Ken the tractor pull, maybe he'd be a good tractor puller. I don't know.
He's a better fisherman.
Yeah. Horse's shop said he should have a video out soon.
Good deal. Well, yeah, ask Kenny. He took his buddy out there. I don't know how long ago it was. His buddy caught the first fish. It was a pretty good sized fish, but that's the only one he caught. And Kenny caught like 11, 14, something like that.
Oh, boy. That's starting to sound like a fish story there.
Now, I know his buddy, and his buddy,
Oh,
that's usually probably how it goes. A horse, that there ain't nothing wrong with a rattle can paint job, man. It's a rat rod. It's not supposed to be like pretty.
yeah, I did a lot of rattle can paint jobs.
He said, no, it's supposed to come and get my tractor.
Ed's supposed to come and get my tractor. Well, what about the driver, Ken? You got to drive it.
Ed said, be quiet. His tractor ain't done. He needs something to drive.
Well, we tried talking Junior into buying it.
Yep.
It just must be a little bit too much tractor for him.
He's just sitting here looking at the ceiling. He's building one now. So he's getting motivated. I think his wife actually kept him tied up so he couldn't do it. So,
or maybe he wants to spend more time in the garage and not so much time with her.
She said, "You better watch it, Ed."
Hey, I don't want to hear it. You stood up there behind me and didn't even say hi to me. So
He said you were standing behind him and never said a word to him. Didn't even tell him hi.
Hi, Brandon. Yeah, it's pretty cold in the garage now with that AC in there.
Hey, Brandon.
I can agree with that. Rattle cans are the best to use instead of having to sit there and break it down into parts.
Hey, you did good.
Yeah, I should for as many times as I painted the damn thing.
And sat there with the sander.
Well, Brandon, me and Ed just got done putting AC in my building, and it's cold.
Now,
That's how Tay's tonight.
No.
He must be working late.
Yeah.
Who, Bo?
around his belly is.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said Bo was working late.
No, Pate's.
Jason.
Jason.
Now I was gonna say I know where Bo's at.
Uh-oh.
He's coon dogging it.
Probably.
He'll run all weekend and then he'll come home and go to bed real early tomorrow night. That's
Yeah.
one thing.
I'm gonna have to go to bed early tomorrow night too.
Yeah.
I gotta go back for 4 days of work.
Me too. That's what I got. 4 days next week. And some people only have to work 3, and then some people just have to lounge.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
Ed, I don't want to see that smirk either.
Hey, I almost took next week off too, but I figure I'll go back for 4 days.
Are you coming over? Are we having a cookout on the 4th?
I'll probably come over in the evening. I got the family reunions at I think we eat at noon,
Uh-huh.
so I'll probably come over before dark.
Okay. Jen said she'll be sleeping by then.
Okay, that's fine.
We probably won't start until probably 4 anyhow, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Jen thinks we're waiting on her because she works till 2.
Yeah, it would make her feel good once.
Hey, Boneyard's leaving.
Later, Boneyard.
We'll see you, Boneyard.
Loose Screws. It's actually just a website you go to. It's web based. You just go to StreamYard.com and put all your information and stuff in, and then you can run your own. You can run your own live stream from it, or you can click on the link that somebody puts up in a chat and go right into the chat.
Right.
See if we can get on there. I don't know if we can or not.
Like whenever I drop that link right there, they should be able to click on that, right? And that.
Mm-hmm. If you can click on it now, if you've never been on StreamYard, but you'll have to fill out all your information,
And that'll get him set up.
And then that'll get him set up, and then he can come on the panel. And then once that's done, it'll always be set up.
Right.
You won't have to do it again.
Yeah,
That's how I got mine set up. Was I clicked on somebody's link and got going that way on it.
I think it was Ed's.
Yeah, it was Ed's.
Yeah, I've heard you can arc weld aluminum too, but well, Junior's right there. Ask him. He's a welder.
Junior, arc welding aluminum. What do you need?
Gas.
Oh, you got to have gas to do it?
Depends on whether you're gonna run wire, feed, or
Rod.
Rod.
Rod. He said it's number 4043 aluminum arc rod.
You gotta have the welder and the gas.
Yeah, just you got to have gas that goes with that to run the 4043.
Yeah, I've never tried to stick weld aluminum. Well, not arc stick weld. I've used those little aluminum filler rods you can heat up with a oxyacetylene or a propane torch.
Yeah.
The guy said he heard it can be done. Have you ever welded with it? You don't do aluminum?
I usually ran
For aluminum?
Mm-hmm.
When I get rich and famous from YouTube, I'm gonna buy an AC/DC TIG welder so I can TIG steel and aluminum.
How old are you going to be then?
Well, I'll probably have to hire somebody to do it for me because my eyesight will be gone. or I'll have enough arthritis I won't be able to hold the torch.
Yeah.
Well, or I could put one in my Amazon link, my wish list, and maybe a rich benefactor will buy me one. But
Yeah, there you go.
I don't foresee that ever happening.
Yeah.
I've got a spool gun at work for aluminum I can use anytime I need to. I want to try TIG welding.
Yep.
Oh, shoot.
So, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking that there is an aluminum rod that you can run without gas. I'm thinking that there is one that you can use on your regular stick welder. That's what I'm thinking.
There's Pete's performance. She said that Jason's in the shower now.
Well, what do we care about Jason? Where's she at?
That's what I'm thinking.
She's the one that makes the funny videos. Jason's poor head gets slapped too much.
Yeah, she does all the cool giveaways.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm signing on now.
She's signing on now.
But I've been kind of looking at different computers and stuff. I just seen that Lenovo has a gaming computer out now on sale for $299. Yep.
Well, that's what this one is. This is a gaming computer, but it was a lot more than $299.
Was it a laptop or is it a desk?
Desktop.
It's a laptop.
Oh, okay.
It's basically the same thing I have now, but it's got a bigger processor, bigger RAM, or twice as much RAM, and a bigger hard drive.
Where they have it at? Where is it at?
I want to say Walmart.
Really?
Yeah. because I just typed in gaming laptop and started looking through them, and most of them are $500-600, and this one popped up, and I started looking at the specs on it and everything, and like I said, it's got a bigger processor, more RAM, double the RAM that mine has, and I double the hard drive too, which I'm not worried about hard drive. I'll do external hard drive, but that's not much more than what I paid for this one.
Yeah, that's actually a really good price.
Yeah, that's cheap for a gaming one.
And it has even the CD on the side.
Yep.
That would be the best place to look, of course, is wherever you're getting your rods and stuff at. Talk to them in there about what rod welds aluminum good, through the stick. They'll probably be able to answer that the best for you. Okay, Ed, you got called out to do a song.
I might. I got to start listening to some more old country if I can remember all the words, though.
Oh boy.
That and Bobby needs to be a key lower for me. I can't hit them higher notes anymore. I used to be able to. I can't now. Too many of these.
Yeah, really.
Yep.
That's what's going on tonight. Is that right?
Yeah. Brandon goes on 9:00 our time.
Okay. That's what I thought.
You better look out, Ed. There's a princess in the basement trying to come up. I don't know. Yeah.
You sure that's her?
Yeah, that's her.
There we go.
There we go.
I remember that from last week. Yeah,
What do you think about the name? I changed it.
I see that. Oh boy.
That's a good one.
Today we're giving away all his tools. Ready?
He wanted nothing to work with.
How's
What-
everybody doing?
Doing good. What Jason have to do? Work today?
Oh my Lord. What didn't we have to do today? Besides, they had him in at work early today, which he wasn't supposed to be in. He came home and then had to go back in again. So he just got home. We shoveled some food in him, but he forgot he had scheduled a sale. So normally he's been handling all the sales right now, but it was like he needed to eat something. So we shoveled food in him. I went and did the sale. And then he was like, I was like, oh my God. I was like, Mark's live. But it killed us this morning. There was just no way that our live could happen this morning. It was like, literally, we were both, he left the house this morning at like almost 4 this morning to leave for work. So it was like, we've been up since like easily almost 2:45 this morning. It was just like a day. And last night was a late night with him turning wrenches for like the side work. And so we were like, something has to give. That was it. So.
Hi, Nate.
And then he did offer to not shower, but that was not an option tonight. So he's smelling all sorts of funky smells. So. But I did catch Uncle Ed. Did you say you were going to serenade us?
Possibly later tonight on Brandon's.
Oh, you know what? I have to say, I caught just a little bit of it last night as I was trying to clean up the house. his friend has a beautiful voice. Really, really nice. Oh my goodness.
Very talented.
Very talented. Very talented. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm telling you, like, I could listen to him, have a drink, sit out on the deck. That would be the closest to me having a night out, and I've had in a long time. So I enjoyed it.
My son-in-law is the same way. He plays multiple instruments, but to get him to sing like out in public, not a few years ago, he was very self-conscious. He would play in a band, play guitar, play drums, whatever. But to actually get him to sing, but now he's actually singing, and he does Johnny Cash very, very well. He's got a more deep, raspy, not raspy, but deeper voice.
Yeah.
And he can, he just, and like I say, he can play electric guitar, acoustic guitar, drums, fiddle, some brass instruments. I forget what all he can play, and he's all self-taught.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
It always kills me when they're shy though at first about it, and it's like, oh man, you got a talent like that. It's like, just show it to the world, man. You know, don't hide it. Don't hide it. Yeah, that's fantastic. It was beautiful last night. Absolutely beautiful. That's fantastic. I missed the beginning of it. That's a friend of Brandon's.
It's actually his cousin.
Oh, his cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So does that mean Brandon's got some of the singing genes in his blood? We're going to hear Brandon singing soon?
Well, he just said he sings when he welds, so we'll have to get him welding.
Okay.
Which one do you like best, Horace? Is it the Lincoln or the Hobart?
Well, you talking about stick welders, Mark. One of these days, when I start getting my area cleaned out, I've got a stick welder in my garage.
Where?
It's in there. Trust me. It's probably, I'm going to say it's from the 40s. It's actually an inverter welder. It's got a big electric motor on it that when you plug it in, that motor kicks on and starts running. And I've never welded with it. I got it for free. A guy gave it to me. And I'm like, I'm afraid to plug the thing in.
Well, the worst it's going to do is just kick the breaker. Might scare you a little bit.
Yeah, but there's no plug on it. There is a schematic on the inside of the panel. I didn't look at it real well. I don't know if it's, what voltage it is.
Oh,
Should be. It's most likely 220.
Yeah, I'm guessing 220, but it might be a 3-phase. I mean, this thing's like an old military. I mean, the motor on it is probably almost 2 foot across and probably 2 foot long. It took two of us to pick it up in a pickup truck and load it and unload it.
Yeah, we had an interesting event this week. I don't want to boil any of his content if he's looking to use it, but apparently the mister thought I would be a lovely accomplice to a little welding this week. Welding is not on my resume, and if I do decide one day to weld, I would like a mask. Thank you. Thank you very much. My dear husband either knows my life insurance policy is paid up or whatever, but he seems to think looking away was a good solution and not having a mask on. No, thank you.
Sometimes welding, you have to do that because you can't wear a mask and get in to see where you need to see.
Well, I said to him, I said, if I'm looking away, how do I know what I'm triggering? And he goes, just imagine it, look, and then look away and do it. And I said, well, your hands are there. And he goes, well, then know for sure what you're triggering. And I said, both of our jobs, we need our hands. And he goes, well, then be for sure. And I said, I don't feel comfortable with this.
Shoot.
All right, fine. He goes, I'll trigger. You hold the equipment tight. And I said, so now I'm trusting you with my hands. I said, I don't trust you. Yeah, that didn't end so well. That ended with me leaving, him huffing and puffing, and he figured it out on his own. I said, see? I said, it's my job as your wife to remind you of how to go back to your Boy Scout years of figuring these things out on your own. And he just looked at me. We had a few choice words that night, but yeah. Welding with a helmet and all that, I'll do that. But no helmet, don't look away. No thanks. It was a fun time.
The best surprise I got was at work. I don't have my own personal welding helmet at work. It just hangs on the welder, and anybody that wants to weld uses it. Somebody decided it'd be really cool to turn. It's an auto darkening. You know, you can change the shade in that. They thought it'd be a really good idea to turn the shade all the way down and the delay all the way up. So I put it on, flip it down, stick it in there, and start welding. It don't darken.
Oh.
I was not a happy camper.
No. So you might as well have just looked away too.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little shade to it, but nothing like what it should have been.
No, especially when you're prepared for, some darkness to occur, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
My personal auto darkening one I have here at the house is battery operated, and I've been using it before, and the battery run out. And I know the little lights flash. I'm like, oh, I can get this quick weld done. Yeah, it just
Murphy's Law.
Okay, time to take the battery.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm always willing to take one for the team, but not if it results in lack of eyesight or hands. So no thanks. But so it was an interesting week, needless to say. But oh, look who's gonna decide to go. Look, don't you look pretty with a shower? Look at you. You actually smell decent. Come on, you sit next to me then.
While the shower's hot, you should take one too. Just a suggestion.
Oh,
A friendly one.
Do you want to know
You should have saved water.
what was taking place when you was taking a shower?
Wait, what was that? I'm sorry.
Do you want to know what was going on while you was taking a shower?
Who does it involve?
You?
Knock on the door.
No, you.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
She's giving her next giveaway your tools.
Jason, that might not be a bad thing because you can buy all new then.
Yeah, right?
And then we were just sharing how you thought you'd turn your dishwasher into a welder this week. No thanks.
It was so easy.
Oh yeah, so easy until I'm literally feeling my way around the kitchen from this point on.
All she had to do was close her eyes and squeeze the trigger until she heard a zap, and that's it. All she had to do was lay a tack weld. That's all she had to do.
And I did that, and it didn't work.
No.
Hey, Jason, this is on a serious note. While I'm thinking about you got Milwaukee tools, right?
Absolutely.
Have you tried the new cordless die grinders yet?
I have, but only in the M18 version. I run the M12, but I have done the M18, and it's a pleasure. Tempted.
Does the M18 have the big normal like impact battery, or does it have the small like a M12?
So The M18 is a bigger battery.
The big square battery.
Yep, but just like the M12s that I have, if you guys notice on my ratchet
Yeah.
battery that I use, it's like streamlined with the tool. And
Right.
that's for clearance issues,
Mhm.
right? Ratchet, you're supposed to stick in there and go in tight place. Obviously on a lawnmower, no, but I'm just a creature of habit, because I have it work at home. And if you guys notice on my impact that I used to take off the blades and stuff, that I use the bigger battery.
Mhm.
And I can put that bigger battery on the ratchet and I get more power per se, but then I'm losing and I'm only taking off 5/16 bolts and stuff like that. So it's not necessary, but it's definitely a good move, a good family, a tool family. And the warranty is absolutely phenomenal. Are you looking to purchase or do you have already?
Well, I've got the M18 half-inch impact at work, and I've got
through your job, or you have it on your own?
it through work.
Oh, they spoil you.
Right. And then I also have the M12 hacksaw, cordless hacksaw.
Yep, got that too. Fantastic tool.
And I love it. I've used the crap out of that thing.
Yeah.
It actually has surprised me how nice it is. I was thinking, like a sawzall.
Yeah.
It's it's going to be hard and awkward, and the way the handle's shaped.
No, it's very easy to control.
Well, I didn't know when I got it that the thing turns 90 degrees.
I didn't know that either. I got to go check mine. I have the fuel one, M12 fuel.
Yeah. It'll turn 90 degrees because I was actually trying to cut a AC line off, and I couldn't get that in, so I went and got my big sawzall with a long blade to get up in there. And one of the maintenance guys walked by. He's like, "Why aren't you using your little one?" I said, "Because I can't get it's bulky. I can't get it up in there." He's like, "Well, here, watch." Click, click. Turned it sideways. I'm like, "Really?"
Cool.
Nice, small. Get it up in there. Boop, hacked it right off.
I got to go look at mine.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm not trying to brag or anything, guys, but I have a Milwaukee handheld vacuum and a circular saw.
Obviously.
I'm a believer.
So we have, it is what it is. Obviously I get dirty. So when we work on the house.
You get dirty. You get dirty just breathing.
Please. So we actually have a different set of Milwaukee tools just for housework only. We have a drill, an impact driver, a little saw she uses for trimming and arts and crafts, and the hacksaw. Because I was using it to notch beams to run wires through upstairs. So then I use it to cut off door pins. But Milwaukee is a great family.
Yeah.
I think it's a 5-year guarantee on the tool, 3-year on the battery. Save your receipts and register your serial number. I mean, I used to have a shop locally do all the warranty work, and they really got me upset because I had an impact that they repaired for me in the past, just a trigger. No big deal. Easy peasy problem. Had it back to me in a couple of days. No charge. Tipped the guys. It's like a small mom and pop store. And then maybe like a year later, I was using it to take out a cabin filter, and it literally just snapped in half. Like at the torque, snapped in half, and I'm chasing the ball bearings around the shop. I'm like, wait a minute, why am I? This is under warranty. The hell with this stuff. Put it on a box. Went there after work, and the guy's like, "Oh man, this thing is beta shit." And I'm like, "Oh really? I don't care.
I'm not putting together dollhouses.
Yeah.
I'm a diesel mechanic."
I said, listen, man, I'm a diesel mechanic. I was like, I'm in the rain, the snow, the sleet, the hail. I was like, this thing gets beat. I was like, what are my tools? I said, what are my tools supposed to look like? And he says, not this. I'm like, all right, well, what, fix it. He's like, well, the serial number is missing. And so I'm like, listen, I'm in the computer. You repaired this in the past, same tool. He's like, oh, we had a system crash. You have to give us the receipt or the serial number. And I could not find the receipt for the life of me because I first bought it years ago. This was non-fuel. And I says, all right, you guys, you got me. So I went out, and believe it or not, now I buy all my Milwaukee tools from Home Depot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I purchase it online. So that means I have the receipt is stored in my online account. I have a hard copy. And then I write the serial numbers when I get home. And so then after that horrible experience with them, the second time with the private guy, my grease gun had issues. So all I did is I sent it away, and then believe it or not, I bought another ratchet secondhand, and that took a dump. So I sent that back with it too. I didn't even say I was. I just put it in the box and see what they could do. All they asked was for a receipt for the ratchet. So I gave them the receipt from the one I bought brand new, and they sent me a brand new one. I mean, I couldn't be any happier. Free shipping. You know, you go online, you fill out a form, and then you print the packing slip. All you have to do is supply your own box. But you go to the post office, you get the free one, you know, and you just ship it. It was a great experience. I wouldn't own any other cordless tool anytime soon. Definitely not Snap-on for sure. Milwaukee all the way. Yeah, Milwaukee all the way. I couldn't.
And we've gotten some decent deals at Home Depot, right? There have been a couple of times, right?
Yeah. So if you have to pay attention to like Home Depot, especially on like the holiday times, they'll do like a package deal, and then they'll throw free stuff at the end.
Like batteries.
Yeah, like batteries, or you pick another tool, and you know that's what we did. You know, because that's how we end up getting extras for the house. I lost the tool, and then I had to buy extras. So, you know, it worked out for the best. You know, I had to buy a tool set, and then I got the tool that I was missing free. So it works out. It's very reasonable. It's very, very reasonable.
I get all my power tools through our battery dealer. They're actually an electrical supply company, so they get big bulk deals. And I just got my 90% of my platform at work is DeWalt, has been for years, and I got a new DeWalt drill, right angle grinder, Sawzall, and I forget what the fourth thing is now. It was less than buying two tools through the Milwaukee, and I already had the battery platform, and they're all the brushless.
Yep.
You know.
And then Horse's shop said he's starting diesel mechanic school.
I think that's awesome.
That's awesome, but say goodbye to your body because you're gonna beat it to death.
Aw.
You'll be all right. I mean, I'm 6-7 years in. I do a lot.
But he's starting like a lot younger than you did on the big stuff.
Yeah, but I do most of the bulk work, and I do a lot of the testing. Because a lot of the guys, I call them legends.
Well, you're
like
also
you
tiny, and they can fit you in small spots.
Right? These guys are phenomenal technicians, you know, mechanics, better than me by any means whatsoever. They just can't take a test. They just can't do it. But I could take a test. I can't fix the truck, but I could take a test. They could fix the truck, but they can't take a test. So with that.
My biggest challenge was when they went to the DEF systems, and I had to use a laptop to force regens, and all that to clear them out and to run all the electrical schematics and everything. It was all on laptop, and it was, you know, once you learned it, it was all right, but the truck would literally tell you what was wrong.
Yep.
Where to look for that problem. So then it was, okay, now we're going to get idiots out here because they're going to look at a laptop and figure out how to fix it. Now, the old school motors, they're going to get their tail handed to them because they're lost.
Yeah, well, that's what we have the service truck that I post. We call that Big Gay, Big Happy, right? And that still has the 466 in it, international.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit electronic, but for the most part, it's all mechanical.
Right.
For the if anything goes wrong, you can fix it right then and there on the field.
It's a really cool looking little truck.
Yeah, compared to, you know, something, the newer stuff. Good luck, good night, Irene. You know, there's nothing really much you could do, especially with a laptop. And you know, you're talking about forced regens. You know, if you do a forced regen, that means you didn't regen it when you're supposed to, and you're locked out. If you go into a D-rate, you can't get that out. You need you have to pay somebody with factory software, not a generic tool like JPro, to go in there and do it. It's like, ooh, I have my opinions on DEF. I'm not happy, and there are ways around it. And hopefully, you get that opportunity, and you can too. Everybody, we do it for obvious reasons.
Yeah, you can get the delete, but then as soon as they find out who deleted that system, now you big fine.
Well, so they make a kit. I've only seen it done once. My buddy did it, and it was on a Kentworth dump truck. Just got done with, as soon as his warranty expired, out the door that thing went. And
Right.
I mean, this thing, it was that exactly what a DF system, like to the visual eye, it was. So he took crap out, put this magical box in there, and then he reprogrammed the truck, and the guy's getting better fuel mileage, better performance, the home. It's just amazing. It really, really, really is.
Yeah.
Back when I was working on the heavy equipment and stuff, we didn't have cordless tools,
A lot of the old guys say the same thing, man.
The 1-inch impact weighed like 40 pounds, and you're dragging a that big old 1-inch hose along with it, and
Yep. Now it's funny we talk about tools. My 1/2-inch impact, I use AirCat. I don't use Snap-on. AirCat, my AirCat 1/2-inch impact could take off, some of the heavier stuff compared to what some of the shop tools can get. Because, some of our shop tools are 30, 40 years old. And they're a little tired. And even one of the guys has the Milwaukee 1/2-inch, the M18, and he's busting nuts off too, with that thing. And you see the guys, like you guys, like, what the hell, and they're still dragging around their corded ratchets. They're old school. I get it. Listen, we get paid by the hour, right? So we have to make our 8 hours. That's it. If you want to beat the clock, hey, more power to you. If you don't want to beat the clock, you're going to be in some trouble. But there are ways around it. Some of the senior guys, they've earned it. You know what I mean? I rather have me do the heavier work and then let them kind of, I can't say the word coast, but I'm horrible with electrical work. So you know what? If I get stuck with an electrical problem, let's switch for a little bit. I'll do your radiator job. You find my short, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle.
But you should also be watching so you can learn.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not like that. You know what I mean? I started my job with zero experience. I never touched a diesel truck before. So, I got the basics down good, quick learner, mechanical and
great guys to learn.
Right? And then as soon as I was done, my phone would be like, all right, what do you want to learn today? Do you want to pick a truck and figure this out? Or do you want to see what some of the other guys were doing and, hold a flashlight? This one guy was good at electrical work. I would hold wire so he could solder them, so like, what do you want to do? So I would bounce around from, mechanic to mechanic or start my own job, so it's.
Horses says that he's going for medium and heavy duty diesel trucks. Horses, would you like to come and live with us for the year? And you can go into work with Mr. Pate and I'll feed you. And I'm not quite sure where the Baker Auto Diesel Institute of Owasso, is that how you pronounce it?
Michigan, I believe.
Michigan?
Okay.
Well, that's a little far. Your commute would be too long. We can't dorm you here in New York.
So he's very lucky. See that he had a diesel class in high school. We didn't have that. I mean, I didn't do that anyway.
Yeah, we have like in New York here, we have for the high school students, we have like your typical BOCES tech where the kids can go and still work on like auto vehicles. They are, believe it or not, they're starting to actually mainstream that out as not offering it as a program, which I think is absolutely absurd. Yeah, I agree 1,000%. Not in all places in New York, but in some. And I think it's ridiculous because I think that's where some kids find their passion and they end up realizing, we talk all the time. I mean, the mister over here, he ended up going to college for teaching. And so he's, wow is right, Sandy. So he's got a degree to teach high school social studies, but he never used it because his passion is what he does now.
Don't tell me he studied history either.
Yes.
I have a major in history. I have a major in history and minor in anthropology.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I know you can never take his degree away. And as a teacher, I always tell him that. But let's be honest. $150,000 in student loans later, I would have loved for him to have gone to like a BOCES tech back in high school and have gone right into this because
believe me,
this is
save so much money.
This is his talent. Like this is what he loves, like I'm all about it. If this is what you love, like jump right into it. And they want to take those programs out of the high schools. I think it's ridiculous.
We never had that program.
Yeah.
But I would never thought what
But
I'm doing now. In general, I'm way off. I'm way
He
off.
never saw himself doing
I'm way
that,
off.
though. Yeah.
I'm way off.
Yeah.
Starting from my career
Yeah.
path to what I'm doing now with you guys,
Yeah.
never in my life. But I wouldn't change it. It's good.
His father actually tried to get him into like public housing in the city and whatnot.
Which I should have done.
His father was like big into all of that. Like, so he really never saw
And I says, no, I
himself
want to
in
do the right
this.
thing. I want to go to college, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
But who
I mean,
says that's the right thing, you know?
You know
Like,
what I mean? But at that time, they
That-
really were pushing
you know?
college, you know?
well, I grew up working on stuff from the time I could turn wrenches and stuff. And they offered Votech auto mechanics and diesel mechanics and all that kind of stuff, but I never went into that. I actually took agriculture production, which we did some diesel and stuff like that. But I was working for a buddy of mine's dad, and he had semis, and my buddy's like, Ed can work on stuff. Have him, do them oil changes and tire changes. Don't be sending that shit out, Dad.
Yeah.
And it started out that, and then one day a guy come in, and I forget even what was wrong with his truck, and I jumped up on it, and I'm like, no, fuel in, fuel out, no ignition. Well, let's fix this damn thing, and it snowballed from there. And
yep, that's all I know though, because my grandpa, my dad, they all had semis. I worked on all their stuff growing up. My whole entire life, it's always been diesel and farming. And then I got with Sandy. Then I started buying trucks of my own. And one night, 3:00 in the morning, I busted a cam. And I was driving the truck, and she came out with the pickup and got me, brought tools and everything, and her and I put the cam in alongside the road.
You're talking about the S cam or an actual cam in the engine?
A cam in the engine. Had to pull the heads, the radiator, everything out of it to get the camshaft out. And we did it alongside the road, and we did it in 9 hours.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
well,
What kind of truck and what engine?
Big Cam 400.
Oh, is that the Cummins?
Yes. And
Real good.
just a couple weeks after that, then I blew the front rear end apart. And we fixed that alongside the road as well.
I hope a couple weeks after that you dropped to one knee and put a nut bolt on that girl's finger.
No, I lived with her for about a year before that happened. But,
Oh, amen to that. I test rode this and I still was, I don't know what fell on my head. I still think he drugged me.
no, you turn.
I wanted to marry me, and I held off for the longest time.
Chris, what it was is when you
You moved out already.
Wait, we went away, and you thought I was going to propose, and you were so upset I didn't. Wasn't even a thought in my mind.
now my ex-wife told me exactly what happened. When she slid the ring on my finger, she turned it the wrong way.
Oh.
It's like a selector switch. You can turn it one way or the other way.
Yeah, you gave me 2 months to give you a date.
yeah,
And 2 months to
her
plan a
mom
wedding.
and dad, her dad, every time they'd come over to our place, he was like, "Hey, I want to talk to you."
Oh.
And I'm like, "Okay, what's this about?" He didn't actually say it was shacking up. What did he call it?
Oh.
Get to know free.
I can't remember what he said.
Honest woman out of her.
Yeah. And I told Herman, I said, "Well, I'm getting around to that." And he said, "Well, it better be getting real soon before it does get around." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I come back in the house and I told her, "You got 2 weeks to figure out a date." That was the end of that.
There you go. There you go.
And then you did that.
Yeah, I lived with my ex-wife for over 5 years before we got married.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's just wild. So, make a long story short, I know we got time, right? So I started working when I was like 14, 50 years old at a pizzeria. Then after that, I got into cars and whatnot. And then I became friends with one of the customers at the pizzeria who was like a mechanic, and he did side work. And then, a long story short, he ended up buying a repair shop. So I just started to sweep floors there so he could help me work on my cars and stuff like that. And there would be no charge. I would be like labor for labor. And they did that all throughout college as well. I graduated college jobless, and I wanted to go back to school. I had to finish, for my master's, and their response was just more school, more money. So I started at the Sears Auto Center. I said, I need to be I don't know. I have to be like a real person. I was always working off the books. Like, I need to get a physical paycheck. So I started with Sears. And Sears, you could work there for 2 years, and then you could apply a percentage of the money that you make, and you can go to school.
You should practice in auto.
Yeah, I was working at the Sears Auto Center. I'm sorry. So let's just say I made $30,000. They would put 10% towards school, and it would cost me nothing out of pocket. And then if it were 2 years, they could put, basically 10% of each year towards school. I was going on my second year, and Kmart and Sears merged. I wasn't grandfathered in, and I lost everything. It just happened to be a guy from my company that I work for now needed an alignment done. And then he'd seen me run around like an animal a couple of times, to the shop. And he pulled me over to the side and said, hey, man, you want a job? And I'm like, and here I am now. Here I am now. They caught me lying on my job interview. They caught me lying red-handed. That was a pretty interesting job interview. They asked me about air brakes, froze me up like crazy. And then from there, it transpired into I never worked on a truck before. And they're like, you're a liar. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? I said, I want to work here. I want a job. And the one guy who hired me for his shop says, I want him. We'll train him. And then the big boss who caught me lying says, no way. He's not ready for it. And then the only way my college kicked in this process is that when the job interview was over, he handed me his business card. He says, listen, I'm going to call you in 2 weeks, good or bad. I says, okay, that's fair enough. So as soon as I got done, in college, they teach you as soon as you get a job interview, you send like a follow-up email saying, hello, blah, blah, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. If you guys have any other further questions, don't hesitate to reach out with me. And then I never got a response back. I never got a phone call back. And then she pushed me to call them.
I said we had fancy resume paper, a nice resume.
I was dressed like in a suit and tie.
I had him wear a suit and tie to a diesel mechanic interview. And I said, you are going to go in there like you're going for the head of the company, my friend. And he goes, I'm not. He goes, I sent them a follow-up email. I am not calling. And I said, what is your option? Because at this point, we were driving to car dealerships looking for jobs, like, working for a service mechanic. I said, you've got nothing to lose. You call them and you follow up. And that's what he did. He followed up.
Yep. And I got the job. And the guy called me. I called and left the message. He called me up 2 days later. He says, I have a job for you. It's not what you applied for. Come on in. And, it was pretty amazing. So I was management at Sears, but I was a working manager, just the way the shop was. So the guy's like, listen, it's not, I know you're going to be making a little bit less than you were making at Sears. And then he told me the starting pay, and it was a lot more than what I was making at Sears. And I just kept my composure. Says, when can I start? And, it's ever history. The rest is history from there. But it's definitely a good gig, good shop. Definitely have earned it. There are a lot of guys that have been around the same time as me, but I get a little bit more special treatment because I really do put in a good effort. I really do. One of my nicknames is the Golden Child.
Well, my diesel truck mechanic job started out as just a summer job between college because I went to college for a year, and I never, like I said, it's my buddy's dad's place, and I was just up there hanging out, talking to him, helping him because it actually was a truck wash, and we did mechanical work on the owner's trucks and stuff. And I'm just up there hanging out with him in evenings, you know, doing my thing or whatever. And it like kind of rolled into a 40-hour-a-week job that I'm there, you know, 8 hours a day every day. And they started giving me a paycheck. And then it turned into, you know, hey, he knows how to turn wrenches. Hey, he knows how to do that. And, you know,
you just have to have a good work ethic.
well, and I never drove a semi in my life up to that point. And after about a month working there, the owner's son's like, hey, man, Dad wants you to do that work. I'm like, okay, we'll bring the thing in. He's like, no, go bring it in. I'm like, dude, I have no freaking clue. Because you can drive stick, right? I'm like, yeah. He goes, same thing, just larger scale.
Yeah. Well, you know, did you have twin sticks back then or no?
They were just
so screwed.
I mean, no, I've actually driven a twin stick. I've driven a old Mac R model with a 21 speed, you know, 3-shifter. Hook your arm through the steering wheel and got both arms going at the same time. Yeah.
I'll never forget when he first started this job. Don't forget, I teach in the same, you know, neighborhood that he works, and we pass each other on the road sometimes. And I never forget when he first started, I said, do they know that like you don't have your CDL yet? You don't know how to drive these?
Yep, they know.
And he was like, yeah, they know. And I would sometimes during the day have to go to another building for a meeting, and I would see him out like, and I'd be like, was that you like jerking along in a truck on the main highway? And he was putting his best foot forward, trying to learn as much as he could. And there was that jerking along on the highway. I'm like, God bless.
There was many a times I would go up, you know, because our trucks ran landfills from a transfer station down to a landfill and back, hauling garbage and stuff. And there were many a times I'd go up to the transfer station because they were broke down up there, and the drivers would leave. I mean, they'd go home, you know, and just leave the truck sit there. There have been many a times that, you know, I'd go up there, fix the truck, take one of the other guys with me from the shop, you know, from the wash bay to drive my service truck back. I'd jump in that truck fully loaded, you know, down the highway I go, get back to the shop, call the owner, say, hey, yeah, the truck's back, it's running. He's like, okay. He goes, be in at 4, take it to the landfill. I'm like, what do you mean? You know, I'm like, he's like, he left it up there. He's not getting paid for the load. You are. He said, take it to the landfill, dump it off and bring it back to the shop. He can pick the truck up there when you're done.
Nice. That's a good incentive. You know, my incentive was to learn stick. After I did a clutch, I had to test drive it.
Well, the funny thing is I'd never had a CDL. And when I told you, you know, the owner, he knew that. And he's like, he goes, I need to load off. He goes, you get busted. He goes, I'll pay your fines. I'll get the truck out of impound or anything else like that. Well, after a couple of times, the other drivers would say, hey, you just stay between us. Anything happens, he said, you keep trucking. One of us will get busted for whatever, unless they pull us all over. He said, just keep trucking. After a few times of that, the older drivers would never leave their truck. It was the younger guys, the cocky guys. After a few times of them losing out on that load, you know, they wouldn't leave their truck no more. It didn't matter if it was 7 o'clock at night, you know, and I'm still up there working on it. They'd be standing right there waiting to jump in that truck to head on down the road, you know. Because at that time, I mean, those guys were getting paid big money to haul that garbage.
Yeah, there still is a lot of money in garbage because company also does, you know, used truck sales. And I'll always ask in conversation if it comes up, you know, what are you using the truck for? You know, so there's a lot of money in FedEx, you know, like those like Grumman bodies, but you know, Grumman's not around no more. Those Grumman body style trucks, FedEx, and then a lot of the trucks, the sleepers and stuff, all hauling garbage. There's one company that we service. They haul garbage one way and produce the other way.
Well, ours were either
Kephart?
What was that?
Is that Kephart?
No.
No comment.
No, but I'll never say but. But the trucks are the tractor trailers are squeaky clean. Let me tell you, there are supermarkets that we service, and I'll tell her,
Yeah.
there's one we don't go to no more. So, and those are just straight trucks, and all they do is haul food, and it's for their own company.
It's like when you know someone who's a restaurant, like a health inspector, and they're like, "Don't eat there." He's like, "You're not food shopping here anymore."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, I hauled off of Long Island for 5 years. I was leased on to Cat Park Trucking with
Mhm.
my trucks. Well, I had 2 or 3.
Yeah, you too. 3. that time.
Yeah, I had 3 leased on to them over there, and we hauled off of Long Island. I did that for 5 years on flatbeds. Dirty, nasty job, but it paid good.
No, so their trucks are enclosed reefer trailers, so they'll haul food one way, and then they'll put up, this little nice contraption they have, and it blocks the reefer, and there's a metal hook and a cable, and then they just literally pack garbage square in like a compactor. Close the door, open up the door, then they hook a machine up to the cable, and the cable pulls
All the
everything.
bills out.
But those trailers are impeccable inside. You couldn't even tell that there's any garbage in there. Meanwhile, there's companies that all they do is haul milk, meat, and general produce because they're just for a supermarket.
Okay.
Golly, the drain drawers are clogged with shrimp and stuff, and you just want to throw up. You open up that back door, you just want to throw up. And when it gets hotter you want to throw up. And then you get these guys hauling garbage, impeccable. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, you got all dump trailers or walking floors that we hauled.
Mhm.
Then we started hauling up into New York. We'd haul coil steel up and bales of garbage back. And one time, one of our guys had a problem with a trailer. It was a lease trailer. And he had garbage on. It was wet when they baled it. He got 3/4 of the way back. Well, all that, it froze. And then he was running through slush and stuff. Had a brake lock up. They were waiting for the local service guy to come up there to free it up or whatever. Portascales come across. He was 113,000 gross. They're like, "We're red flagging you. You're overweight." He's like, "I'm not overweight." He started chipping ice and stuff off. They let him do that. Then let him go to a wash bay to wash the bottom half of the truck off. He was still over 100,000. They're like, you got to do something. He's like, okay. He pulled out the back of the truck stop lot with a chain and a binder, pulled 4 bales off because they were stacked too wide, too high.
Yeah.
Pulled 4 bales off and left them lay there. Went back across the scales. He was legal. Called the company and said, "Go pick your bales up because I ain't taking mine."
Wow. That would never happen here on the island. They're very strict. DOT is very, very strict here. Very, very
Constantly
strict.
pulling people.
Well, this was outside of New York where he got picked up at, and they were. I mean, they knew they didn't know he was overweight by the load, but they could see all the ice and everything on his truck and that, and they were going to give him a break and say, "Hey, if you can get it off, you can go." When they pulled him across the cat scales there at the truck stop, he was still overweight. He said, "I know exactly what it is." He goes, "Those bales were soaking wet when they put them on my because they pulled into a building to get them loaded." And he said they froze with water in them. They didn't get drained out. And he's like, "Well," he goes, "I'm either going to red flag you or you got to call somebody to come get them off." He goes, "I'll get rid of them." Like I said, he backed out to the back corner of the truck stop and pulled them off.
Yeah, that's wild.
Chained everything back down. He pulled across the scales and he was just underweight. And he's like, "I'm going to try it." He goes, "If I get more snow and stuff," he goes, "I'll stop and chip it off." But,
No, DOT is funny over here. And I don't know what their motives are at times because I've seen them down trucks for lights. Like, you got to be kidding me, right? So if we're in broad daylight. What do you mean you're going to take a truck down for a light? But then it's funny because there's been a day down a truck I was working on was kind of embarrassing, had 2 different air chambers for the front. Someone put the wrong air chamber on the front. DOT downed him. And so I had to go there, verify the problem, then get the correct air chamber. And then the guy, when I was doing the air chamber, he says, "Oh, oops, I missed this hose rubbing through. You got to get a new hose too." I'm like, you mother.
Well,
I'm like, oh, you mother. So now I had to go to a hose shop and get a hose. I mean, this was like a 3-hour endeavor now. Now I have to go someplace, wait online. So now obviously DOT, they put a sticker on the windshield. You're not going nowhere. And they happened to do this, and I felt really, really bad. And I even checked my service truck to make sure I didn't have the bulb. They downed him for a brake light, those little circle brake lights. They downed him for that. Are you kidding me? Come on. No.
hey, we had one of our trucks go across the scales, and they pulled him out back for excessive grease under the fifth wheel.
Yeah.
So then the guy actually called an Uber to take him to an auto parts store. The auto parts store didn't have it, and I felt terrible. So I was actually calling my shop, like, can you guys, I need a light too. The guy's breaking, like I was going to try and have him hot shot me a light. Next thing you know, DOT says, all right, time to go home. Packed up all their stuff, put the creeper in the van and took off. The guy's looking at me, I'm looking at him. I'm like, go. He just took took a razor, scraped off the sticker off his front windshield. Good to be gone. I obviously had to stay and, handle my business, but I'm like, what's the whole purpose if you guys aren't going to sit there and babysit? What's stopping anybody from running away,
Yeah.
I always liked the DOT though in New York, especially out on the island and that. Like I said, I ran 3 trucks that we have running in and out of Long Island for 5 years, hauling that trash out of there. And we would put 2 wide, 3 stack high on 48-foot trailers, grossing over 100 on the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Well over 80 gross. And we would do that 3 nights a week, but we wouldn't come out of the island. We'd get in there in the morning, but we wouldn't leave until rush hour traffic. And then we would head off the island and fight the traffic to get back across George Washington. But we never had no issues with New York.
One of the guys I sold, I didn't sell anything, but one of the guys, when he was looking at a trailer, and that's when I first heard about garbage, he was transporting from Long Island to Jersey. He said if he was able to make 3 trips a day, he said that is gravy, fantastic, phenomenal money. And I'm like, okay. Something to put in the back of my mind if I ever wanted to do something different,
You take and haul off of Long Island, coming back to Ohio. That's $1,100-1,200 for 500 miles. So you're over $2 a mile, and you're using maybe $200 in fuel and putting up about $1,000 in your pocket.
Yep.
It was years ago.
And that was years ago, and I don't know what it's paying now, but it's got to be higher yet, just for what I'm hauling now and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, that was good money because you go over there for almost $2,000 and come back, you were sticking $3,000 in your pocket on one turn, and then you turn 3 turns over there in a week. Yeah, we was doing good on that.
Yep, but then now you throw in the DEF system, right? A 1 box for Detroit's like $20,000. That's gonna throw your, you know what I mean? That'll put a small guy out of business. It's
you got to delete it. You got to delete it and leave the tank on it and keep DEF in the tank. Just put plugs in the back to make it look like it's an operationable system. But the bottom line is that is part of California emissions. You're not in California.
Yep.
I'm in California, so how are they going to catch me with it? Because they don't know that it's not operational.
Well, there's ports. Excuse me. Because there was a trucking company down south that was taking old 889s and literally doing a frame up restoration, modernizing everything like a resto mod, like a resto tractor trailer, the whole 9.
Right.
And people found out about that, and their way around was, now you can't get to port if your truck doesn't have this emission system, doesn't care how old it is. So now there are some companies out there that literally get paid to meet you outside of port, unload, switch, rehook, drag it in, and bring it right back. It's crazy.
Yeah. But the money's there to do that.
Mm-hmm. But it's crazy. It's crazy. But Trucking is definitely good. I like the flat nose. You know what I mean? I like cab overs. You know, the guys say you want to run away from them. You know, I've never been around one. I want to be around one just for, you know, poops and giggles. I get lost on YouTube sometimes. Just people, you know, it's pretty wild where YouTube takes you when you want to, you know.
My two favorite trucks are the old auto cars and the Anteater Internationals.
Yep. That's like on our wish list to do. Love me. For some reason, I'm obsessed with a two-stroke. I don't know. All the guys at work hate them. All that noise and no power. And I'm like, it is what it is.
Well, one of the worst things I ever worked on was a dump trailer for a friend of the owner of my company that I worked for. And he just ran local. Basically, they hauled iron ore from the ore pellets from the refinery into the steel mill. And they had to, when you dump at the steel mill, you have to back up in this hopper looking like thing that's got a couple big steel I-beams that run up the side. Yeah. When he would put the bed up, when he hit the top of the second telescope, that bed would lay over against the I-beam and ride the I-beam up until he dumped and lay back down. And when it started coming down the second telescope, it would pop over. I mean, it would go over 2 foot, you know. Owner's like, hey, you're going to get popped with DOT on that thing. When he brought it in, I literally had to cut the back hinges out of this trailer and weld new ones in. The pins are almost 3 inches in diameter holding that thing in. There was less than an inch holding that pin in. I'm like, dude, the only thing holding this bed on this trailer is the hoist that's probably leaking 5 gallons every time you put it up. So I rebuilt the hoist. Well, first I rebuilt the hinges on the
truck with an auto car. That's what you had.
And then I rebuilt the cylinder in it. And the thing was so old, I had to wait 2 weeks to get the
stuff, yeah,
packings for it. You know, and the whole time he's bitching and complaining. He's using one of our trailers. Of course, it was an old Benson triaxle. You know,
yeah,
ended front. I mean, the thing when we used to hook that thing to our auto car, and our auto car was a day cab stretch. Okay, you could put a full double, like, you know, honeymoon suite sleeper on this thing and still not be close to the fifth wheel. That's how long it was. When we put that trailer and that truck together, it wouldn't fit in our building lengthwise. And,
that's long.
And for having a double camelback hump suspension on it, when you hooked those two together and got loaded, it was one of the smoothest riding trucks. You know, it had a 4 1/4 cat in it that was turned up probably to a 5 1/4. I mean, the thing, and it was actually an old quad axle dump truck, you know, coal bucket dump truck, you know, one of the long beds.
Yeah.
When the owner bought it, we pulled the bed and stuff off, put a fifth wheel on it, took the 2 tag axles out. You know, made it a road truck.
Yeah.
The guy who had it before us, it had 2 splitter switch, you know, the pull-up splitter switches on them on the shifter. We could never figure out, you know, why in the hell there was 2 of them. You know, for like the first week, because we were just fixing everything that was wrong with it.
Going through all the systems.
Well, it turned out that second one was the Jake brake. When you could be at an idle. When you pulled it up, it would kill the motor. So, I mean, I used to love running that thing up and down the road, man. You get that thing tacked up about 3rd or 4th gear, pull that thing, and it would bring you to a dead stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Like I said, so all the diesel trucks now, like just like I like the 466, right? They're all too quiet, except for a Detroit. They'll always be a screamer. But all the exhaust brakes, they just don't sound. They don't have that flap, that crack. It's just it's not a truck anymore to me. It's not a truck.
Now,
you're supposed to wake up the neighborhood when you have your Jake brakes on.
now, I'm learning. Is an auto car?
That's a brand, like a Ford or.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that you roll cars into it. It's just the brand. Okay.
Yeah, I had a.
You mean brand as in like Kentworth and all? Okay, got it. Okay, got it.
I had an auto car. My one of my trucks, I had an auto car with 444 Magnum in it, and that's what Sandy drove. That's what she learned how to drive. She was like, "How am I going to do this?" And I showed her how to shift it with no clutch. And I was coming out of Houston, and I went to bed and left her go, and she brought it all the way back to Texarkana while I was sleeping. She did good. She did all right. She didn't wreck it.
Of course she did, because she's Sandy.
Oh,
The only way I can explain the auto car that we had, picture a 1920s car with a long hood, narrow hood,
Mhm.
kind of big rounded fenders. That's what our auto car looked like. Had 2 pedestal headlights out front, one on each side.
Mhm.
Had the gull wing flip up hood doors on the side.
Cool.
I love that thing. Big aluminum front radiator on it. Big aluminum front bumper. And like I said,
Does this company make these anymore, or did they transition into another company, or?
well, they kind of went together with. Let me think here a minute. Sterling. I'm wanting to say.
was it Volvo?
I think it was a part of Sterling and Volvo and Western.
Yeah. The 3 of them went together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you guys like auto car, right? There was a guy maybe about a year ago. I got lost on YouTube, and a guy bought a 1957 auto car. He literally dragged this thing out of the. But it was actually good to see him going through it and cleaning it and getting it up and running. Diesel Creek is the name of the YouTube channel. 1957 auto car. Check that out. Yeah, see, that's like, I like that type of stuff. I can't do that here. They would complain. But, that's something I'd really like to do just because.
Yeah, them other 2 trucks got the 600 cats in it with the 18 speeds.
Yeah, so I love cat. When I first started out my company, we ran cats, C7s and C15s.
Yeah,
And obviously, cat didn't go with the emissions in DEF. So cats were eventually phased out for us, but golly, I miss them. I thought they were pretty good engines. The guys didn't like them. Apparently, they ate a lot of cams. But, in my opinion, that's job security. You eat all the cams you want. You do a couple of cams, you get really, really good at it,
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you always had the kitty whistle.
But, if for horsepower and all that, you couldn't complain. You couldn't complain at all. But like I said, I hauled for 5 years, and I was always grossing 135, 140. Coming back into Ohio, we'd have to sneak through the mountains and all coming through Pennsylvania. But with them cats, we'd drop out of 18th into 17th and just keep walking like it wasn't even behind us.
Yep.
But you get what you pay for. But they do like miners. I mean, a Caterpillar won't take the heat.
Mm-hmm.
You heat them, there goes a motor.
Yeah.
I was riding along with the owner one day in that auto car with that Benson trailer on there. We were hauling them ore pellets back out and out towards, there's a town out west of us called Worcester. There's a long downhill and then a back uphill. We topped that hill about 70 miles an hour, hit the bottom. I don't know how fast we were going there. And there was a line of trucks going up the other side. He pulled out and never dropped a gear and come up beside of them, got 3/4 of the way up, and they're hollering, screaming at him on the radio, and black smoke's just rolling out the stacks.
Yeah.
The one guy said something the owner didn't like. He grabbed that Jake brake and brought us to almost a dead stop. And I don't know how many gears he grabbed down.
Yeah.
Jammed it back in, prompted that gas, and passed them all again. And got on there and said, "Don't mess with my old auto car." He said, "I'll blow you all out the water."
Yeah, they're good, man. They're good.
Oh,
But I like taking them cats and putting them 8-inch straight pipes on them. Put the big pipes and everything on them. They sound good. They got a nice howl to them when you're going.
Yeah.
Mark, you know what the old coal trucks sound like.
Yeah.
That's what this truck was. The exhaust was cut off right at the top of the cab.
It's funny though. You pass trucks and stuff with stuff like that, and they always want to get on the radio and run their gums and flap their gums and everything. I was like the other night coming up out of Nashville. 2 trucks, they were poking along. One was in the middle lane, one in the left lane. No trucks out in the left lane. The right lane, the right lane, the middle lane was all jammed up. So I come all the way out to the left lane and went past him. And this guy got on the radio and started running his mouth, talking to the other guy. And the other guy comes back to him and says, "Did you see that? That was a fine example." And the guy says, "Well, what was that?" He said, "That was a large car. He never shifted gears, but he just changed lanes." I was loaded up pretty good coming up through there. And I never touched a gear. I just kept right on walking up through there. And there's some pretty good pulls down there coming up out of Tennessee and Kentucky. It was nice. But
Yeah, because I run the morning sometimes. I have to go out on the road, and I'm always on the Long Island Expressway. And my service truck is topped out on like 65 because it's loaded down. It's an old International. If I catch the right hill, I'm maybe going down 70. There are these 2 sand trucks. I always want to catch up. I always want to stop them one day. One yellow, one red. Blow the doors. Blow the doors off me every morning. And they come by, my whole service truck shakes. Freaking insane, man. Insane. They have to be doing, no lie, between 90 and 100, which is illegal, but I don't give a shit. I just gotta know what they got in that thing. And they're all Peterbilts. But I can't even tell you because, the new Peterbilts just look like the old ones. They still keep the long nose, just the headlights are different. They're going so damn fast. I don't even know what they are, if they're new or old, but they just blow past me every time. Every time I see them, I just know it. And here it comes like a twister. And the whole truck shakes as they blow by. Then a couple of minutes later, here comes the other one right behind it, a red and a yellow one. They're always convoying it right down the middle lane. Oh my God.
Well, one of my favorite trucks that we had there for it was like a sleeper truck. We called it the Booger. It's an old day cab white POS. It was a city truck, like for hauling whatever. Had a blown motor up, and when the owner bought it, we bought a junkyard 4 1/4 cat and dropped in it, turned it up, put straight pipes on it, put a wet line on it. That thing was so light. I mean, they could put a lot more in the trailer.
Yeah.
But that thing, it rivaled that auto car. When they were running down the road, they would run together.
Yeah.
When we first put it together and stuff, nobody wanted to drive it. It was just a little bouncy day cab.
Mm-hmm.
Until they found out the weight to horsepower ratio in that thing.
Yeah.
And some of the older guys, they were local day drivers. They didn't have to sleep in their trucks.
Mm-hmm.
They literally gave up their nice Freightliners with the sleepers and everything else to drive that truck because they could get more in the bucket and make more rounds because they could go faster and pull hills better and everything else.
Yeah.
And we did a GMC cab over swap like that. We had a woman driver. She was driving a Freightliner when she first started for us. Come from a straight truck into that. Got her feet wet in that. We put that GMC together, and she actually would come in and shop and help us. And she made the joke when we were putting it together and stuff. Oh, this is a cute. There's an old AEP electrical semi truck. Same thing, own motor. But she would joke when we were putting this thing together. Oh, this is going to be I'm like, man, I said, you don't want this thing. This thing will kill you. She got that truck. And she loved it, she drove that thing. She dialed it all up, inside, cleaned it all up and everything. And she was driving that truck to the day I left.
Yeah.
She said the thing I love about it the most is nobody else wants to drive my truck. I can haul just as much, just as fast, and just as heavy as all them guys there. She goes, but being this little day cab, she goes, it don't beat you to death. It actually rides nice. Mm-hmm. She goes, I don't want that big fancy Freightliner, I just,
Yeah, we're mostly Freightliner International. Our old shop tractor was an old Mack, and somebody loved it so much they stole the tractor and the trailer. That was a sad day. That was a sad day. Yeah, it's wild. It's whatever. So now we had to get a Freightliner with a Detroit in there. It's good. It's nice and loud. I like it. But I mean, it's just an old school Mack. Nothing beats an old school Mack. We rarely get a Peterbilt or a Kentworth in there. But if we do, I'm all over that like white on rice because I just never seen one before. You know what I mean? That's what the big guys drive. But the two Peterbilts that I've seen, they're the newer ones that almost they're not slant loads, they're nice curved, you know. And so I'm not too into it, you know. But the interior is nice, you know. One of our companies bought out another company, and they took over their Kentworth. And just the way the Kentworth set up like a dump truck with a reefer body on there. It's over engineered. But you get inside that cab, thing drives nice, handles nice, you know, nice digital screen in front of you, 360 cameras. I mean, it's out of this world. It's out of this world. I mean, it's definitely, you can definitely tell when you can get a good quality truck, not no freight shaker or international, you know. But what I don't understand is that Kentworth always has a pack car. And a pack car is basically Cummins. So I don't know, you know, what's the difference or from the other. You know, it's
Pack car is not a good motor.
no, but you know, like some of the pack cars I've seen on smaller trucks, they're exactly like Cummins. They take Cummins filters, so I don't understand why, you know, why does pack car and Cummins make that split and not just be one company, you know?
Well, the only reason we started running Freightliners is because the owner of my company that I work for, he'd do a lot of flipping trucks. He'd go to the auctions and buy. Say he needed 2 trucks, he'd buy 7 or 8, sell the other ones to pay for the 2 that he got. Well, he got screwed one time. He bid on 7, bought 7, bid on 7, won 7, and ended up with 14.
Did he pay the same price?
Yeah, he paid the same price for all the, you know, each truck individually.
No, but I'm saying he bought 7 and got 14, or he paid for 14.
Well, he paid for 14.
Ooh.
Because they didn't disclose correctly enough that when you bought certain lots, it was 2 lots together. They were selling in lots of 7, and what it was, there were some trucks that were kind of questionable. You know, they probably should have been parts trucks. So he ended up, you know, he's like, well, it's time to expand. He goes, I can't flip all these. You know, there's no way I'll lose money. Mm-hmm. So we started putting a bunch of them into the fleet and that. And like I said, the younger drivers, they fell in love. They were nice, you know, plush interiors. They weren't the old day cabs that we were running and everything. And till they started tearing fairings off the bottoms and found out that you know, that big double sleeper with that big wing, you know, that's 2,000 or 3,000 more pounds that you can't put in that trailer, and your paycheck starts coming down.
Yeah.
Because you're working on percentage, and they're like, oh, you know, like, I'm sorry, that's the truck you're stuck in, man, and we don't have anything else to drive.
Yeah.
The one kid actually volunteered to drive our yard truck, which was another one of the GMC cab overs, and the boss said absolutely not. He said that thing is not roadworthy. He goes, you can't go haul loads with that. Oh, you know, it'll be fine. The guy said it. I'm like, no. I don't like driving that thing through the yard with a trailer on it. I'm not putting you out in the road with a fully loaded trailer. You know, the only thing we used that thing for is to move trailers into the shop to do like brake jobs, welding or anything else, and then take it back out back and park it. That thing, it had plates on it because technically we had to go out the front of the building onto the road, make a loop back in the driveway.
Yeah.
And I got told by a state trooper that if he seen me do that again, he was going to give me a ticket because he knew I didn't have a CDL. And so, I don't know if he was being truthful or what, but a few days later or a week or so later, he come back in, he goes, notice you haven't been going out on the road. I'm like, He said, well, how you getting them in? And I'm like, I'm backing them in. What do you mean you're backing them in? I'm like, yeah. So I can back these things up better than our drivers can. You know, and he'd stop in and get a cup of coffee at the garage because there was a truck stop kind of down the street and across the road from us. He'd come down, bullshit with us because he knew we were open until midnight, 1 o'clock, and we had better coffee than the truck stop. So he would come in and get a cup of coffee and bullshit with us and stuff. And like I said, I don't know if he was actually being dead serious when I'm going 50 yards, out on the road enough to turn and come back in the driveway and get the trailer and stuff back in. From that point on, I'm like, nope, I'll back them bastards in and out. So.
No, it's definitely I only have my Class B with an air brake endorsement. She has her Class B with an air brake endorsement. Because,
You're not important anymore.
What's happening?
I love that.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's up, man?
Been really busy.
That's a good thing, right?
Scott, we don't want to look at you. We want
Yeah, I know, right?
Come on, look at why? What's wrong with that? I'm better looking.
Put the cute one back on the screen, Scott.
I don't know, Scott. I think I see the screen cracking.
I got this
There. There's a baby.
Got a little headband. Yeah. Aww.
Man, good.
What a sweetie pie. Oh, look at that grip. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. She's getting so big already, so fast.
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, she's getting big fast.
She really is. Oh man.
Jason, you'll have to take a look at the video that posted today.
Wait, we're gonna take a video of what?
I said you have to take a look at the video that Sandy put out today.
Okay, so there was a video I was trying to watch where I'm partially colorblind. I could have swore something was purple. Was
Ooh,
it the
my
frame?
favorite color.
Was it the frame that was purple?
The whole tractor is
Medium pink.
all painted, and you'll have to look at the video. But it's
I'm gonna
somewhere
watch it, but what's purple? Or am I wrong? I'm way off.
you're
No.
way off. It's
He
like
can't see shades of color, so
It looks purple to me.
I'll have to tell him the color.
Well, Mark's colorblind too, so
Yeah.
so it's kind of like a pink, a red.
maybe a purple.
Maybe I'll mess with him and tell him it's a different color.
Actually, I wanted to paint it yellow, but that didn't fly.
It's a horse of a different color.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me double check. I could have swore I seen purple today.
No, you didn't say purple. If you did, I'm getting rid of it.
Oh, send it this way. It's my favorite color.
Okay, so what's the one that you posted 15 hours ago? That's the one I was talking about.
That should be it. No,
What color is it?
What color is that?
That's
What's
purple.
up, Breezy?
Oh no. This is not purple. This is oh, this is almost like a magenta pink.
Purple.
Yeah, it's not purple.
you actually hit it right on the head. It is a magenta pink.
Yeah. Not purple, honey. Not that family.
No, the real Just Creepin' was purple.
The first
See, and I love that original.
Well, listen,
color.
when you guys make
This is so
t-shirts,
pretty too.
when you guys make t-shirts and we buy one, just make sure the tractor is purple on mine.
the next step is now I'll take it down to the airbrush guy and have it airbrushed and everything in detail. All that paint.
Very nice.
So to be finished out for.
Very nice. Oh my God, you guys are over 100 subs. 133. Congratulations.
Yay! That's awesome.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
What is it?
I said you guys are at 133 subs. Congratulations.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
it's time to get out of this stuff then.
What was that?
It's time to get out of this stuff then. Too many people looking at it.
I told him I told him this morning he's doing great.
Really?
Well, that must have been my 100.
What was that? I can't hear you. What was that?
I said that must be my 133 sub thing for an AC in my garage. Cold in there now.
Oh my gosh, Uncle Evan, you're riding up on almost 500 yourself. Holy canaries.
Ow.
I think I see us all ending up at the Oscars next year. What do you think?
No.
I'm only at 437. I'm far away from 500.
I like to round up.
Yeah, 4 inches.
Rounding up is the teacher thing.
Yeah. Oh, that says Casanova with his button-down fancy shirt tonight. Look at you. Is tonight date night at your house?
There ain't nothing being Casanova.
Usually you're a t-shirt guy. You're all
Because I work for a living.
On Nick's, he doesn't wear a shirt.
Yeah, but he's all clean shaven and everything too.
Oh.
God always has clothes on our lives, but once he goes on Nick's, shirt's off.
That's the drive. That's just to be nutty.
Yeah, like he's studying.
Aw. Aw.
But no, I remember my first truck I drove was a Diamond Rio. Then after that, I got an auto car. The Diamond Rios were beasts.
What color did you have, Scott? I was looking up some and I found like this real pretty blue colored one.
I work for F.S. Lopke out of Appalachian, New York, and they still run Diamond Rio. Green.
Oh, a green one.
They were all green. If you look up F.S. Lopke out of Binghamton, New York, they still run auto car in Diamond Rio.
Wow.
From
Nice.
the 70s.
I like them old cracker boxes.
What's the cracker box?
I like Cracker Jack boxes too, especially the prizes inside.
The old cracker box was like a single cab over.
Okay.
And you was the first one to the accident if you ever wrecked it.
Is that where you got Mr. Pate from? What's the Cracker Jack box? And you just shook it up and you got yourself a fun. He's a mix of everything.
Imagine a truck that looks like if you hit the brakes too hard, it would flop over on its nose.
Oh my.
That's what an auto car looks like.
See was we had.
Yeah, a lot of the guys hate the cab overs. They said you could feel every bump in this and the whole line. I'm like, I don't care. I just want to ride.
I drove a cab over once. The trouble is, if you go take it into something, the one I had to check the oil, you had to tilt the engine ports. You had to take all your clothes out, everything out to check the oil. Or it'd be on the windshield.
Well, so we do, Amazon. And a lot of the Amazon guys, they have the little Isuzus, the MPRs. And every time you got to flip up the cab. And these guys, they just don't know any better. They got all the crap in there for the day. They're cooler, the whole line. And they just leave their truck. And it says, you're not around for me to tell you to move your stuff. Guess what, pal? Adios. Unless you're a driver that I like, I'll take certain things out. But other than that, I'm not cleaning out your cab. That's not my job. That's not my job description. You're supposed to get your crap out before you drop it.
Unless there's a winning scratch-off ticket that just happens to be laying on the dashboard.
I like those Isuzu MPRs. I want to buy one to haul my pulling tractors in with a lift gate on it.
We have a super one that's actually a Kentworth, which is pretty wild. And you actually have a pump jack, and you have to pump the jack to get the cab up. Oh, yeah. Thank God we get paid by the hour. That's a lot of God.
See, I'm so old. I remember cars when they had bumper jacks.
Yep.
Hey, Scott,
And I still have a few. They're great when you want to change springs on a car.
the bumper jacks are nice, but I actually have an old jack. It's a tripod jack. It's got one leg down the middle with a long screw and a hook on it, and a crank handle on the top.
Yep.
Oh my God.
They came with Oldsmobiles back in the late 60s. My father had a Delmont 88. with the 425 Ultra High.
I've got one out in my garage I use all the time.
Should do a video on it.
I'll show it in one of my videos.
We have to do an antique museum to do that.
I'll in one of my videos. I'll say, "Can anybody guess what this is?"
You know what's really funny, Ed? I got asked today, is Ed your dad? No. And, I'm older than Ed. And it was like, no way. I said, I got Ed by almost 5 years. And they was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you got to put the old guys on top and these youngsters on the bottom row. By age.
Well, she's the senior, so.
Yeah, but I'm older than both of you.
Well, you know what? Probably if Uncle Ed kept it short, like Mark, it'd be a different story. And I'm sure if Mark grew his hair out, it'd come out. Salt and pepper.
Simple. We got Pull Bear Ed, the Santa Claus. Twisted is the elf. And me, I'm the good looking one.
And then we got DJ Drifty.
Oh, yeah.
If I grow a beard out, it's all gray.
Yeah, but right now you look like Santa's elf.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason,
Yes,
Oh.
ma'am.
did they know you at work this week?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What was that?
Did they know you at work?
Oh, with your haircut and
Yeah, with your haircut.
Oh, yeah, they're happy. They're happy. They're happy. I'm the only one that didn't get a haircut. I was gonna ride it out. But you know, it is what it is. They just think it's funny because now my mullet is more defined compared to previous style. So they get a crack at it because, like I said, a lot of these guys are older than me, so this is like their youth, you know. So I says, hopefully we'll start a trend. How many guys are gonna start growing their mullets back at work? And that'd be great.
Well, hey,
Stop your barking.
we're gonna have to cut this off. Brandon just went live, didn't he? At 9?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, we're running into him. I don't want to run into him.
All right, it was good seeing you guys. Sorry we missed you guys this morning, but it is what it is. But I'm glad we all catch up.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, good time.
And
It was just in time.
we'll see you, Uncle Ed. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep, 7.
Perfect.
Right? Yeah,
Good to
7.
see everybody.
DJ Drifty, have a good one. I don't
All
think
right, see y'all. Love y'all.
And happy Father's Day.
Give
All right.
kisses.
Yep.
All right, guys, later.
Bye.
All right. We'll see ya.
See you guys.